Hey everybody, this is Mike with On Point Preparedness. I haven't done a really good conspiracy video for you all in a while, and this one's not going to disappoint. For some reason, there are electrical transformers blowing up all around the world. The majority of them happening just in this month, January 2019, but several others back from September of 2018. The most notable one was published all around mainstream media. This was on December 28th of 2018 around Queens, New York, when literally all of New York was able to see the nighttime sky glow blue. The next one here just happened today or yesterday in Crossville, Tennessee. It's actually quite interesting. The lady that is recording this says the end is nigh, and you can see why.
Oh, it's happening. The end is near. What the fuck is that?
Another one here, it's pretty spectacular video footage. This is in Sao Paulo, Brazil, around January 5th, 2019. This video is probably one of the craziest. It's from Venezuela, sometime late August into early September.
Oh my God, Maracaibo sin luz, señores. Oh, allá está, pues listo, Maracaibo sin luz. Vamos.
Venga, pásame ese video.
Marico. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow. Oh my God.
Ese es el imperialismo mismo.
Para el mismo. Oh my God, marico. Wow.
Coming back around to January 2019, this is in Mexico City, I believe on January 13th, 2019. So again, you know, when I started seeing these happen around fall of last year, it was definitely interesting and definitely got the attention of mainstream media. I just sort of tucked it in the back of my pocket, but then again, just this January, just newsfeed after newsfeed after newsfeed. A lot of them just local reporters or bloggers or people with their cell phones, just major transformers blowing up, and you have to wonder, is there something else going on here? So I got just a couple of theories. Not really sure if this is all just happenstance. To me, with how many that have blown up just in January alone, it does not seem so. But check this out. Here's an article from RT. It says this bank called Saxo is predicting massive solar flares to bring chaos and inflict $2 trillion in damage in 2019. Now, this bank has been known for having these outrageous predictions every December, so I'm not really sure about their credibility. I didn't look into them that much, but here's what the analyst said about this potential incident happening in 2019.
One of my outrageous predictions for 2019 is that we see a solar storm striking North America and inflicting some $2 trillion of damage to infrastructure and satellites.
Now, about this theory that a solar storm, solar flare, similar to the, I believe it's 1859 Carrington event, that would happen, and maybe that's the reason why a lot of these transformers are blowing up. I'm really not sure whether to believe that or not, simply because I've done a lot of research with scientist John Casey in the past. He's a scientist who said that the sun is definitively going into a 230-year minimum period where it doesn't have many solar flares, doesn't have many sunspots, and that the Earth would be cooling. So far, his research is spot on, and a lot of scientists are catching on that the sun is eerily dormant, and we are seeing cooler temperatures. We are seeing an increase of earthquakes, an increase of volcanoes, all things that John Casey had predicted nearly a decade ago. And thankfully, I was able to have him on my channel to discuss these things back in 2015 and 2016. You can see both of those interviews in the YouTube description box if you prefer. So I'm really not sure what to make of it, but it's definitely a probable theory. Now, another news story that's been big in the news over the past couple of weeks is how our magnetic poles are shifting quite dramatically. Our poles shift, and there is a program that accounts for this, but it actually needed an emergency update because of how fast it's been changing. I remember how this was a topic back in 2011 where they actually had to rename certain airways in some of the US airports because of the shift in the magnetic poles. But for some reason, just over the past couple months, it's gotten a lot more intense. Now, I don't know if this shift in poles is creating surges in electrical energy, forcing these transformers to blow up, but I just thought I'd call it out as, again, another potential hypothesis. And then lastly, the only other theory I've got pertaining to all these electrical transformers blowing up is that somehow this is in relation to terrorism. And terrorism can come in a multitude of different ways. If you remember this article from 2015, there was a California transformer that blew up, and they had actually found that there were snipers that had launched an attack with rifles on it. That's one way. Another way is through hacking, causing electrical surges to the transformers. We know that there's a lot of cyber warfare propaganda going on. And then lastly, I know DEWs, direct energy weapons. Lots of people have been talking about that with regards to a lot of the fires and everything happening. So could that be yet another potential hypothesis for why these transformers are blowing up? That there is maybe some type of satellite program that is directing energy into these transformers and blowing them up. Again, that we are heading into war. There's absolutely no question about it. And you wonder if a lot of these governments are testing out some of their new technologies to see if they're going to work or not. And you can see why, blowing up the enemy's electrical transformers would be, very beneficial to your cause. So I have absolutely no idea what exactly is causing these transformers to blow up. But you have to admit, when you start to see 3, 4, 5 transformers in major cities all around the world blow up just within a couple weeks of each other in January, and then count even more so, when you span it out just a couple more months, that's really got to raise eyebrows, especially in the times that we're in with all the prophetic things going on, which includes things like the ramping up of earthquakes and volcanoes, not only in severity but also frequency, a lot of the geopolitical instability that we have across all the nations, really. Most recently, what you're seeing now in France with the yellow vests, as well as what might spill over in terms of this Brexit decision. You have a lot of strange prophetic things in terms of the plagues coming back. Many of us have seen how the locusts or these insects have now started to plague Mecca, and this is not anything new. We've seen lots of insects plaguing major cities. We've seen rivers turning to blood. We've seen all these biblical plagues coming to pass. We've seen all these geopolitical things coming to pass. We're seeing the earth changing. And if you're not abiding in Jesus Christ, if you haven't asked Jesus Christ to be your personal Savior and enter into a relationship with Him, you really might want to start giving some serious consideration, because it is only by grace through faith in Jesus Christ, the only name by which you can be saved, that you'll come out on the other side of this. This is Mike with On Point Preparedness. God bless everybody.